COPE report reveals that 15 state-owned institutions incurred a loss of over 110 billion rupees during a 15-month period. Transactions of perpetual treasuries restricted. 2 internal investigations underway. Price of a kilogram of nadu rice at 72 rupees from tomorrow, with samba to be sold at 80 rupees a kilogram. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister crisis worsens as Pannirselvam suspends his resignation.
A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Ravi Gamare.
And I'm Bernadine Jasting. A very good evening to you. Let's now take a look at your top story. Chairman of the Committee of Public Enterprise, or COPE MP Sunehandu Nethi, says 15 state institutions have incurred a loss over 110 billion rupees during a span of 15 months. COPE's investigative report on 15 state institutions from May 2015 to August 2016 was tabled in Parliament today.
The COPE report contains the details of Sathosa, Road Development Authority, Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, State Engineering Corporation, Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, Sri Lanka Cricket, Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation, National Lotteries Board, the Sustainable Energy Authority of the Ceylon Electricity Board, the Football Federation, Ayurvedic Drugs Corporation, the 4 Maganagoma institutions, Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Kurunagala Plantations Limited and the Employee Trust Fund.
The
Suryawa Cricket Stadium, for instance, is in a state where it does not have an ownership. There is a question as to whether the 5.3 billion is being paid by the Sri Lanka Ports Authority or Sri Lanka Cricket. So the loss there is 5.3 billion. Non-economic activities amounting to nearly 57,000 million rupees have taken place through certain constructions carried out by the Road Development Authority which are not related to them. Moreover, the money which was spent for the Lotus Tower and the millions of dollars and euros granted to the Football Federation. So the manner in which these monies were utilized and spent have been looked into. The State Engineering Corporation has incurred a loss of 2,918 million rupees. Honorable Speaker, this report contains the loss incurred by the Hambantota Port, which is a staggering 370 billion rupees. If you take the losses incurred by these 15 institutions, it is approximately 110 billion rupees which has been caused to the country. Honorable Speaker, I am tabling this report to Parliament as well, and I kindly request you to hold a special debate on it and take the required measures.
The Governor of the Central Bank revealed that the Monetary Board has decided to curtail certain transactions of perpetual treasuries. The Governor made these revelations at a media briefing at the Central Bank today.
The Monetary Board has taken some action to curtail the activities of perpetual treasuries. The Monetary Board decided that the Governor, I as the Governor, should write to the Inspector General of Police to instigate an inquiry. And that inquiry is going on. In addition to that, the Monetary Board found other concerns which came out of the on-site report, which could not be fully established as violations, but which had to be investigated further. So we have, I think, 2 internal inquiries also going on.
Journalists raised questions about the leaked on-site report of the Central Bank.
Irregularities established karoting, suitable inquiry ekak karanna puluwan. Mewa thing queries wagene tiyenne. I mean, as far as I can see in this report, ithin balama monada wenna kiyala. You know, that on-site report was leaked, but nobody can say we haven't taken action. We have taken action. So the point is, if the process has been completed, you know, I mean, there is no right for anybody to leak. I mean, that is totally unprofessional. Totally unprofessional. But to leak it before the process is over is, I think, very destructive. මේ මහා බැංකුවේ actions කරන්න නැත්නම් නෙවෙයි ඒක ප්‍රශ්නේ වෙන්නේ. fully established වුණොතින් අපි action එක ගන්නවා. හැබැයි ඒක ටිකක් process එකක් තියන්න ඕනනේ අපි මේක මහා බැංකුවක්. අපි මේ නිකන් එහෙ මෙහෙ පැනලා කරගන්න බෑනේ.
බැංකුවෙන් පමණක් තනියම නෙවෙයි මේවා කරේ. මේ මහා බැංකුව ඇතුළේ තව ඉන්න උට උදව් කරපු නිලධාරීන්. ඒ අතර ප්‍රධානම කීර්තිය තමයි අනුර මහින්ද මහත්තයාට පස්සේ ටෙන්ඩර් කමිටුවේ සභාපතිත්වය දරන නියෝග අධිකාරිය. එතකොට එහෙම තීන්දුව ඇත්තට චෝදනා එල්ලෙච්ච අය මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා මාධ්‍යවේදීන්ට මහ බැංකුවේ ඉන්නමතේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන ඔබතුමා ඉඩසලස්සලා දෙනවා.
මට මේ මම මෙහෙ
I cannot talk about what happened before I was appointed. I can only think about the proceedings that took place after I was appointed. These officers have been performing their role well during the past 6 to 7 months. I do not have a problem with the way they work. That is how I can judge. There are some inquiries going on. We can take actions only when they are completed. I cannot comment on former governors. A governor will not do that.
it's just not done. මට තේරෙන විදිහට ඒක it's not done.
The Department of Excise says a spirit producer owned by the Perpetual Group, said to be owned by the son-in-law of former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran, is to pay a sum of 469 million rupees in taxes. Commissioner General of Excise LKG Gunawardana, speaking to Newsfirst, said the license of the spirit producer in question has been suspended until the due taxes are paid.
As of the 30th of November 2016, WM Mendes and Company Limited is to pay a sum of 1.19 billion rupees or 1,190 million rupees. They pay a sum, and as of the 31st of December 2016, they owe the department 1,081 million rupees in taxes. As they are yet to make the payments, we have suspended the renewal of their license on the 1st of January. In January 2017, they made a payment of 851 million rupees. The 3% delay charges amounted to 23.2 million rupees. With that included, as of the 31st of January 2017, they must pay the department a sum of 580.6 million rupees. The license is renewed on the 11th of January 2017, and they made the payment in taxes. As of that date, there was an arrears of 462 million rupees. Under the condition of making the payment, we renewed their license until the 31st of January. We requested them to make the payment, and this is how a total of 851 million rupees is included. And there was an arrears of 580 million rupees as of the 31st of January. We suspended their license again. Of the due 580 million rupees, they have paid 116 million rupees in February. It includes the delay charges of 3.9 million rupees. As of the 8th of February 2017, this spirit producer must pay a sum of 464 million rupees in taxes. There is also interest that amount to 450,000 rupees as of today. They owe around 469 million rupees.
What measures have been taken to obtain this sum that is owed to the department?
We have informed that spirit producer that the license will not be renewed until the 469 million rupees is paid.
Allegations are made that this company has been given tax concessions.
This company has not been given any tax concessions in any form whatsoever. The new budget saw an increase in taxes. There is no mechanism to provide concessions.
In related news, the Anti-Corruption Front convened a media briefing today.
The Finance Minister has instructed the Department of Excise to allow WM Mendes and Company Limited to keep their license even if they have not made their due payments. How is the Department of Excise allowing a spirit producer to maintain their license even when they have to pay 469 million rupees? According to the regulations of the Excise Act, it is wrong. There is an arrears of over 400 million and this spirit producer is being allowed to maintain its license. It is clear that this is part of one mafia.
එකම මාෆියා එකක කොටස් බව තමයි ඉතා පැහැදිලිව කියන්න තියෙන්නේ.
Sri Lankan Airlines is to be made a venture with a foreign company in order to cover the losses incurred. Yesterday, the minister in respect of this made an announcement that they have selected American-based TPG. He says it was selected for discussions. It is clear that this company is involved with the infamous perpetual treasuries. Both these companies are making investments in Union Bank and NDB through the stock market. And it is clear on how this investment is going to take place. This investment will be done through the money generated from the bond scam.
මේ බැදුම් කර මගඩිය හරහා උපයාගත්ත මුදල්.
These were the views expressed during the weekly cabinet media briefing today.
ඇමතුමා මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකන් එයාලයින් එකට ආයෝජකයෙක් තෝරා ගැනීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් දැන් තියෙන්නේ මොන වගේ මට්ටමක්ද?
උත්සාහය ධර්මයෙන්.
We are working on it. We are somehow trying to cover this loss. We have not taken any decision yet.
තාම ඒක සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපි තීන්දුවක් කරන්නේ නැහැ.
දැන් කතා බහක් තියෙනවා TPG එක තෝරගෙන ඉවරයි කියලා.
No, there is nothing of that sort. We have not selected anyone yet. We are looking for a good method. The country incurred a loss of 450 billion rupees within a short period of time. We cannot even bring this to a level where they will stop incurring losses. That is how much the debt burden is.
විරෝධී පෙරමුණ චෝදනාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කළා හිටපු මහ බැංකුව අධිපතිවරයා. රුපියල් මිලියන 66ක් අවස්ථා 163කදී දලා භාවිතා කරා කියලා මහ බැංකුවේ. දැන් මොකක්ද රජයක් ලෙස ඔබතුමන්ලා මේ ගැන කිසිම පරීක්ෂණයක් කරන්න උනන්දුවක් නැහැ.
Definitely. There is an investigation in this regard. We still don't know the reason behind this. I received details on that. The law will be enforced. We will have to find out why they bought a rover coat. Exactly. So if something like that has happened, the law will be enforced.
Law enforcement is yet to make an arrest over the incident where shots were fired at the car of Saitam CEO Dr. Samira Senaratne. Police say it is conducting an extensive investigation into the incident.
Two masked gunmen opened fire at Dr. Samira Senaratne at around 8 p.m. on Monday. Dr. Samira Senaratne commented on the various views being expressed over the incident. Some factions allege that this is something done by the government and Saitam. What is the use of doing such a thing? If I die, my relatives would be the ones to suffer. Persons who oppose Saitam will not be affected. Just because my life is taken away, the opposition for Saitam will not fade away.
JVP leader Anurukumar Dissanayake calls for a proper investigation to be carried out on the incident where shots were fired at the car of the CEO of Saitam.
It is clear that this is an attempt to put the blame on the politicians, the student movements and other movements that are against the Saitam. The UMP has a history of a similar nature. The UMP has a history of creating a variety of things by themselves when they want to harm certain groups. The best example is Black July in 1983. If the government failed to conduct this investigation properly and find out who is responsible for this, we can suspect that there is an invisible force from the government behind this incident. There are many talented detectives, but the government had a role to play in all the unresolved crimes and unresolved murders. That is why the murder cases of Eknaligoda and Lasantha Vikramatunga are still being delayed. And that is why the culprits behind Wasim Tajuddin's death have not been arrested as of yet. If the government wants to prove their innocence, they will have to conduct a proper investigation.
The Saitam Private Medical College was the key topic of discussion during the cabinet media briefing today. The GMOA being opposed to something isn't something new. Even when the assistant medical officers were to be given the medical degree, they were completely opposed to it. Moreover, when faculties were established to grant nursing degrees, hospitals did not allow nurses with this degree to practice their clinical services. So the way I see it, this is the mindset of the members of this association. You can't find people like this anywhere in the world. According to the medical ordinance, the subject minister has complete powers to amend the decision of the medical council and take a separate decision. Madam Renuka has done this in the past. Minister Fauzi has done this on numerous occasions while he was the health minister. But Minister Rajitha never did it. That was his level of decency. I would like to ask all of the university students who are dancing on the streets, did you not have to pay to study in order to get to university? Tell me if not even one of those medical students went for a tuition class. So why aren't you allowing the others to pay a bit extra and pursue their education?
Saitam was established during the administration of Mahinda Rajapaksa. Now recently he said that he got together with the program of the Government Medical Officers Association to shut down Saitam.
Well, I do not know. Maybe he needs to get his brain examined. You should write something in the paper. Then he would see it. He should go see a doctor. What else can I say?
They are speaking about the standard of Saitam. So what is the standard of these doctors if they cannot even accept a court order? They requested to practice medicine at the Avissawella and Homagama hospitals. They only got it through court. But even to date, patients aren't allowed to be admitted there. We will seek the blessing of the court to intervene in this matter. Neville Fernando has personally written to me saying that he is ready to hand over this hospital to the government for free.
Tensions boiled over in Parliament over the price control of rice.
2017 ජනවාරි 7 වෙනිදා සිට 2017
From the 7th of January 2017 to the 6th of February 2017, 51,919 metric tons of rice were imported. In addition, we also hope to import another 100 metric tons of rice via private traders. After these stocks of rice are released to the wholesale markets, the price of rice will drop considerably. During the short drought period, as we expected, the rice quota was not received. There was a price increase and the government apologizes for inconveniencing the people. When rice stocks come to the country in the coming weeks, the prices will drop.
Lanka සති දෙක තුලදී මේ හාල් එන්න ලංකාවට
A decision has been made to price a kilogram of nadu rice at 72 rupees and samba rice at 80 rupees. These varieties of rice are available in the markets. It will be available at any market. Satasa will continue to sell it at 70 rupees. Take a look at the shops tomorrow. It does not matter to you if it has been published in the Gazette or not. Take a look at the shops tomorrow.
The last time Bandulangunu Ordana went to courts based on that. That has been rectified and it will be published in the Gazette tonight.
MP Anurukumar Disanayaka, there is no need for a debate. If you require an explanation, make a request from the Prime Minister or Dr. Sarath Amanugama. Has the Gazette been published? Honourable Speaker, the Consumer Affairs Authority cannot make inquiries over the price if the Gazette has not been published. No, it has not.
Approval was obtained from the Council of the Authority and the Gazette was published. I am not sure whether the printing is done, but the legal aspect is done.
When the fertilizer subsidy was provided, their rice production was at a high. Honourable Prime Minister, do you accept that with the restructuring presented by our government, rice production has dropped?
There
was plenty of paddy. The issue is not over fertilizer. It was a water issue. Without sufficient water, there is no use of adding fertilizer.
The Prime Minister speaks of a water shortage. What you did was declare open the water scheme that was launched by the government of Mahinda Rajapaksa.
I was not aware of that. All this time, I thought it was the late D.S. Sinanayaka who renovated the Kalaweva Mineria tank and the Parakrama Samudraya. Galloya was done by D.S. Sinanayaka. The Mahaveli came from Gamini Disanayaka and Jaya Jayawardena. Please tell us what Mahinda Rajapaksa did. The port is yet to be filled with water.
This chamber is not a place for jokes. We are here to discuss the issues of the people. As children from agrarian families, we are speaking of the grievances of the farmer community, the consumer and the entire population. You say the rice price will drop tomorrow, but no such thing has happened in the market.
50,000 metric tons have been imported. Another 100,000 metric tons will be imported. The remainder will be imported later.
Government printer Gangani Kalpagip, speaking to Newsfirst earlier, said that the Gazette on the rice prices was in its printing stages and will be added to its website tonight.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian S.M. Marika questioned the Prime Minister on rural development. This question is to the Prime Minister. What is the total allocation for rural infrastructure development and national level development for 2015 and 2016? What is the allocation made for rural infrastructure development and large-scale development for the year 2017? How will those funds be generated? For the 1,250 rural infrastructure development and national level development in the year 2016, 321 billion rupees was allocated. I table the report on the number of projects undertaken by the respective ministries. In the year 2016, 28,649 rural infrastructure development projects were undertaken. There were no media charades for rural development projects. These projects have done a major service to the villagers. The villagers are aware of that. This program will be implemented once again this year, and we will be able to say that we have done a great deal in rural development than any other government.
Rauf Hakim, the Minister of City Planning and Water Supply, speaking in Parliament, remarked on the issues surrounding traditional lands in the Eastern Province.
Now, if you take the Eastern Province, there are a variety of different cases in different areas, where after the conclusion of the war, people who have during the war had gone and cultivated lands without any hindrance, after the conclusion of the war have been deprived from access to their lands. Particularly having introduced gazette notifications bringing some of those lands which they had been traditionally cultivating under LDO permits have now been denied to them, and this has caused a serious impact in the livelihood of the people.
Several powers vested with the local government authorities have been taken back under the purview of the Urban Development Authority. The UDA announced that this measure came into effect from 1st of February.
The powers taken by the UDA were vested with the local government authorities in 1985.
Transparency,
There was no transparency and irregularities were also reported. 60 to 70% of those regulations have been violated. The procedures too have not been followed. This is a grave situation. Thereby, as of the 1st of February, the UDA has decided to take back several of those powers. The Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development says several powers in relation to building, planning and development planning, other development planning and agreement certification, issuing of permits, preliminary planning, enforcement and settlement have been taken over by the Urban Development Authority. These powers apply for constructions of over 4 stories over an area of 4,000 square feet. It also applies to wherever the condominium law applies, that is government and semi-government buildings that impact environmental pollution and buildings affiliated to filling stations, that is an area of over 40 perches or 0.1 hectares, and the development as well as dividing those lands.
With these powers being taken back, there will be no other task left for the local government authorities except for the collection of garbage.
We are taking over around 1 to 1.5% of the local applications for buildings directed towards the local government. In areas such as Colombo, the figure could be much higher.
An allegation level is the people from all over the country will have to come to the UDA in Colombo for their permits. Is this not a waste of time? They allege that it would take more time.
We have a branch in every district in the country. Several districts do not have the office. But come March, all the districts will have an office of the UDA, and we have planned to install those officers as regional officers of the UDA.
Faiza Mustafa, the Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, visited the Election Secretariat today.
The minister was present at the Secretariat to call on the chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, and discuss several matters including the report compiled by the Delimitation Appeals Committee. With regard to the technical issues in the Act, the Prime Minister chaired a Cabinet subcommittee. The Prime Minister also chaired a meeting today. We cannot call for the elections without making amendments to the Act. With the involvement of the party leaders, we hope to present these amendments to Parliament as soon as possible. Definitely we will hold the elections before July. This is the task of the Elections Commission. After the delimitation appeals process is published in the Gazette, my task is over. We hope that this Gazette will be released tomorrow. We hope that it will not be postponed. There is a court verdict and therefore we hope to do it within a month. We hope that the Gazette will be released by this week. This cannot be done with a single Gazette. The other Gazette must also be amended. Thereafter, the technical issues in the Act must also be attended. If all is complete, it can be done within 90 days to that date.
Leader of the National Unity Alliance, Asad Sali, convened a media briefing today.
We must directly ask, what is the deal that the government of Ranil Wickremesinghe has with the Rajapaksas? When we are losing faith in the government of Ranil Wickremesinghe, we urge the President to take this into his hands. The people did not vote for Ranil Wickremesinghe. The people only voted for President Maithripala Sirisena. One other thing that we mentioned has been proven. Who owns the tyre factory in Horana? Nandana Jayadeva Lokuvithana. It is said that he deals with most of the Rajapaksa money. Who brings him in? Malik Samaravikrama, who is in the same ways of Mr. Basil. Malik has become Mr. 40%. Malik brings in Lokuitana. He tells him that the FCID will not be allowed to question him. He will not have any money laundering case. He tells him that everything will be cleared, come and invest in the country. For what was the foundation stone placed? Whose is it? It is an investment from the Rajapaksa family. A complete investigation must take place into this. As I have said before, the FCID must probe Malik's entire ministry.
මං එදත් කිව්වා වගේ මලික්ගේ සම්පූර්ණ අමාත්‍යාංශෙම FCID එකෙන් චෙක් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා මං කිව්වා.
A regional dialogue on young women's political participation was held in Colombo last evening.
The event was organized by the Canadian High Commissions in South Asia in collaboration with #Generation and the Family Planning Association of Sri Lanka. The event brought together young women leaders from Sri Lanka, Canada, India, Afghanistan, Bhutan, the Maldives and Pakistan to provide a platform to discuss common challenges and share good practices.
Up to date, the number of women entering active politics is very unsatisfactory. The majority of the women who have been and who are in politics today are because of their family background. Majority of women in today's politics have some sort of family background. This is because of our electoral system, the PR system. You need a block vote to enter parliament, or you must have a huge sums of money, and this PR system is also a very negative factor for women who want to enter politics.
Architect 2017, organised by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, is scheduled to be held at the BMICH from the 14th to the 19th of February. A media briefing regarding the event was held last evening.
Architects 2017 is being held for the 35th consecutive year as part of the annual sessions of Sri Lanka Institute of Architects. The series of events and activities will commence with the inauguration on the 14th of February, followed by the national conference on the 15th of February. In line with the event, the members' work and trade exhibition will be held from the 16th to the 19th of February under the theme Return of the City, Mega Structure Redefined. MTV MBC are the media sponsor for the event.
With that, we wrap up Primetime News. I'm Bernadine Jai Singha.
And I'm Ravi Gamage. Good night.